Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be working out in the front, and there's a couple of things that I really want to get buttoned up. These are things that I walk by all of the time and I'm like, we really need to get that taken care of. So we are going to be working up here first, and then we are going to be heading down to the garden center to pick something up for the space that we are going to be working on today. This is the area that we are going to be working in today. As you recall, we had a maple here and we removed it. We actually planted it next to the deck last year, and now this area has been empty, and we've just kind of been sitting with it, thinking about what we would like to put over here. You guys had some really great suggestions, and I would just love to bring something in before we get too far into the season, just because we also have mulch we're going to be ordering here pretty soon, and it's always nice to get some bigger things in the ground before the mulch comes in, because I know we're going to get kind of messy. And we also want to make sure that we are addressing all of our drip line as well before we bring in the mulch. It's just nice to have that done beforehand. So here is the space that we are going to be planting up today. Now in this area, I have been dreaming of having something that's flowering. However, I don't know if we're going to find what we're looking for that's going to fit the space. It is a little bit tight, so I want to make sure whatever we do plant over here is going to stay relatively small, so it's not going to require too much maintenance in terms of pruning it back often. And it is right next to our weeping atlas and then our cedar. So I want to make sure that I have something that's a different texture. I loved having that maple here because it was so different, but again, it just couldn't take the full sun. And we tried a couple of seasons and it was like, look, I can't be planted here. It's just too much sun for me. So it's doing much better in the back. So again, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to find today at the garden center, but if we did find something flowering that say it's kind of small, that would be amazing. But if not, there's a couple of maples that I have in mind for this space right here. And you can see we do have winter interest in this bed. And I think having a maple over here, again, with beautiful branching, maybe we find one that's like a coral bark. I'm not sure yet to put over here. I think that that's going to look striking just because in the winter time, we have this beautiful cedar here and then the atlas, which is nice, but this place just feels really empty now that we don't have anything. If we don't find something flowering, I'm not too worried about that because we are going to be kind of restructuring this bed with beautiful shrubs later this season. And we also have a Chinese flowering dogwood right here in the back. So that also provides really beautiful flowers in the late springtime. The other thing that I would love to address is this Daphne. And I told you guys that it wasn't doing too hot. It's supposed to be an evergreen and it lost all of its leaves, and even the blooms are now being impacted. It kind of looks like a fungal disease to me, but even after reading up on it, I couldn't find anything super definitive. I mean, there was things like in the soil, and it could be light issue, it could be wind. It was kind of very generic results that I got. And I could actually take this and ask our local garden center, which would probably be the best solution. But what I want to do is take it out of this area, maybe just have it in a pot because I was going to move it anyway and see what it does. And the branches, they're very soft too. So I just know something weird is going on with this Daphne, and I think it's just time to just take it out. And I don't know. It's just I gave it time. I fertilized it. We took care of it. We pruned it a little bit, but it's just not doing well. So I would like to get this moved out. I don't plan on adding anything over here yet. I do have some ideas, but I think we might just sit with it for a minute as well. So I think we'll head down to the garden center, see what we find, bring it back, get it planted, and then just kind of be wrapped up with this open area that we've had here for way too long at this point. Okay, we just walked in and came straight to the fruit section. And can I just say, if you have a space for a Asian pear, like this one here, 20th century Asian pear, absolutely buy it. These, in my eyes, have the best blooms. I mean, just look at how beautiful this is. And what I like about these is how thick their branching is. We used to have one, but it died. But this was also like when we didn't know anything about gardening and trees, and it was a transplant from a friend. And but I am this close to getting one because they are, in my eyes, again, just one of the most beautiful blooming fruiting trees. Stunning, just perfect. And look at this one right here. This one has a broken branch. Poor thing. It's just
I think I like that one better there.
this one.
Yeah.
The one back here.
No.
This one.
This one
This is what I like.
right.
Yeah. Well, this is where I was coming. Oh my gosh. And look at this. They're only $89.99. I'd probably cut this branch off. But look at that. That is perfection.
Okay, we're bringing it home. Official.
I don't think we have the space for it. And here are the specs if you do want to get one. Prefers moist, well-drained soil. It gets 12 to 20 feet tall and wide. Of course, you can definitely keep that pruned.
Perfect.
It is perfect. Takes full sun, zone, hardy to zone 5. And that's it. I mean, what's there not to love, right? Oh my gosh, I really want one. It's so pretty. I love when you can find a fruit tree that's not only fruiting and you're getting fruit out of it, but it's also ornamental. And so I think, again, these trees are just stunning for the garden. So we're gonna walk away for a sec, see how we feel, but we might get it because it's just too pretty to pass up, and then we'll just figure out a way of somewhere to put it. I know there's a couple of areas in the back. It'd be kind of tight, but I think there's an area that we can fit it. I think.
No,
there is. Sergey's like, we'll find room.
You know,
Make it work.
We removed
We did.
the pine, the cedar, remember?
Yeah.
On the side.
Yeah.
And I think there was a fig there too that we took out. So we have, obviously we're not going to put them next to each other.
Right.
I want to make my beans lazy.
Yeah. Probably can't hear Sergey. Our mics are a little bit wonky right now, but he's saying we did remove a pine, or no, was it a pine? A cedar. We had removed a cedar. Yeah, the Deodora. No, the electric blue cedar. Yeah, electric blue cedar. And then there was a fig there that didn't do well, so we ended up removing it. So technically we could put it back there. The Vanderwolf is back there and it will need room to grow.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. So we did take up a spot.
Yeah. And then there's the Avondale redbud that we want to move.
Yeah.
Just need a bigger garden. Just need the bigger space. That's all. But I'm also a firm believer, like make do with what you have. And again, as long as you're on top of pruning things, it'll be fine.
He has acreage donation.
Yeah, if you want to donate acres to us, let me know. And it'll be great. We're not picky. We'd love to be by, yes. We'd love to be by water if possible. I'll send you my requirements. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. So, okay, for the tree that we're thinking, we were definitely thinking about a magnolia, maybe a crabapple. I played with the idea of a redbud, but we're like, no, I would love to get a flowering cherry. But the only thing is, the smaller ones that I've seen that I think would go good in that area is weeping. And we already have that weeping atlas. So I don't want two weeping things, although they're very different. But look, yeah. But and then you see this and you're like, well, will it matter? So we're just going to keep our eyes open and see what we come up with. It's too bad that we didn't do this earlier because we just missed all of the blooms, which is darn. So this is a snow fountain weeping cherry. And I think this one, I don't see a tag for it. I'm not sure how big it's going to get. Does it say? Yeah, there's no tag on this one, so I'm not sure how big it's going to get, but I love that weeping pattern. There's also this one, which is kind of interesting. I actually like the shape of this. This is a weeping extraordinaire flowering cherry. Proven winners. What? I had no idea they have this. And let's see, this one is hardy in zones 5 through 8, so that would fit us. And it gets 15 to 20 feet tall and wide. And it looks like full sun. Huh, this might be a contender. Because what we could do is plant it in such a way that this is branching outwards and this is kind of towards the back. So it'd be heavier on one side. Here's one that could be a possibility. This is a royal white eastern redbud. And let me just see if we can find specs on it real quick. So it can grow 15 to 30 feet tall and 25 feet wide. So it's a little bit bigger than I was hoping for. Now here's something a little bit different. Here's another crab apple. And this one is a little bit more of an upright growth, or has a more of an upright growth pattern. And let's see, it grows 15 feet tall and 6 feet wide. I take full sun. Full sun to part shade. Okay, so this would get full sun. But I don't want it to get taller than our cedar. I don't want it to compete with that tree. Oh goodness. This is kind of interesting here. It's a Salix integra Hakuro Nishiki, I think. Don't laugh at my pronunciation. I think this is just a dappled willow is what this is. I kind of like it, but I don't know. I'd rather save it for somewhere like super, super wet in our garden, but I do like that structure. I'm really regretting not getting that wedding tree that we saw when we were in Washington that I showed you guys in our other video, because I think that would have been so pretty in that space. And knowing us, we're so predictable that we might just end up putting like a Japanese maple there, because when in doubt, just plant a Japanese maple somewhere. All right, these are the two that we're looking at. Now you can see that they have very different shapes. This one is the one that I think we're going to lean towards just because it is more open. This one is also very beautiful because I do love how the branching kind of starts a little bit lower. When you are buying Japanese maples, you want to make sure to look at where that graft is, because if you have a split too close to that graft, I've found that they don't do as well and they could potentially crack. Where this one, the graft is pretty far down below, and we still do have a beautiful split right here, so it's still going to be very interesting. And I do hope to keep this because I like that lower branching for this specific one here. This one would require a lot of pruning and a lot of opening up. However, I do actually like this one too, but I think overall this is going to require less maintenance right off the gate, which I like. And this one will just require a little bit more of our attention, but they are the same exact tree. This one is just a little bit more well maintained in my eyes. All right, we just got back and I am very happy with our new addition. I cannot wait. And I am very excited just to get it over there and see how it looks. Hopefully we made the right choice. But first, let me go to the back, and I think we'll just need a shovel, biotone, and some gloves. And of course, it's starting to rain a little bit, but that's okay. Look at the beautiful daffodils. Isn't that just so pretty? Our maple is starting to bud up even more. Everything is just looking so pretty in this bed. We still have so much cleaning up to do here, but a lot of really pretty color going on right now. All right, before we actually get planting, I think I'm going to remove these two big dahlias right here just to get that out of the way. All right, it is starting to rain a little bit, but we are gonna push through and just try to get this done. These look so nice. And these were actually cuttings that I planted. cafe au lait, and they produced beautiful tubers. And look at that. They've been in the ground this whole time. And look, their eyes are already coming up. See? I didn't even do anything to them. I didn't mulch very heavily over them, just left them. But look at that. New growth, nice tubers. They look great. Now let's go ahead and place our tree and see if we want it back here or a little bit more forward. Let's see. Maybe we go a little bit more to the right, a little bit. All right, I'm really happy with where we have it. We did have this grouping of branching about 180 degrees the other direction, so it was over here. However, when it was in that orientation, it would block off the Chinese dogwood that we have back here. So I want you guys to be able to see through to see these branchings coming out right here. And that also gives us a little bit more room in the front and in the back to plant some interesting things. I'm probably gonna wait to plant too close to the house until we redo the siding, but at least the front is going to give me plenty of room. This area is going to be nice and open, which will allow us to plant some pretty shrubs back here, which actually I think is going to be really lovely. I like this. And we still need to bring the atlas back because there is quite a bit of an open area back here. So once we get our tie downs to pull this back quite a bit, I think that's going to fill in really nicely back here. All right, let me go ahead and get this in the ground. I think we're gonna move it just a slight touch over, maybe right here. All right, let me go ahead and get this Daphne added here and see what the roots look like. Oh my gosh, these roots. Okay.
Beautiful roots.
Yeah, the roots look good. Oh, but you know what? Here's what I think happened. Too much compost around the base. You see that? That's how it's just rotting. There's no evidence of like a pest that I can see, but darn. Let me just take a look at it. So it might be a little bit hard to see on the camera, but do you see how it's just mush? Yeah, too much compost on around the trunk. Darn it. Should have paid attention to that, but it's okay. We live and we learn. I paid $30 for this, and it was just a beautiful specimen. So what I could do is actually, I don't think this would work at all, but it'd be fun to experiment, is put it in a container and then see if that bark, like the main trunk, heals over. I don't think it will. It probably will not do anything, but I just want to see what would happen if we do that. But it is a beautiful specimen, and I'm sad that I didn't catch it fast enough, but it's okay. We were going to move it anyway. It's just so beautiful and established that I hate to lose plants this size, but it's also part of gardening. So I'm happy we found what was going on because it was driving me nuts. Like, what is it? And I didn't check the most basic thing, and that's just to see around the trunk. And I think it was just buried in pretty deep. So Yeah, we'll just catch something like that next time. All right, we got everything cleaned up. I do think this area looks really pretty and open right now, but I would like to still come in with something to plant up against the rock, maybe a peony, perhaps, I'm not sure. And I was just thinking, what a rookie mistake of me not to catch that. I cannot believe that was the problem. Too much mulch compost on the branches of the Daphne. I should have caught it earlier, but I didn't. So it is what it is. And then here is the maple. I love the way this turned out. I think this really brightens up the entire area, especially in the wintertime when these take on a little bit more of that coral color. Right now it's starting to fade a bit because we're getting into spring, summertime. So it will be more on the greener side. And then in the wintertime is when we're really going to see that bark putting on a show. And so again, we just planted it with the heavier branching coming out on this side. And that way it still provides an open area for us to see through into the Chinese dogwood. And then from this angle, you'll see once we move the atlas, it's going to look a lot better because we just need to bring it up against the house. And I also think once the siding is done, and this is going to just pop up because we plan on doing like a creamy white for the paint. But oh my gosh, you guys, I love this so much. I think this is the perfect addition to this space. I wanted to give you guys a closer look at the bark. Again, it's a small but vigorous tree with striking colors and apricot colored bark. I think this is going to be the most beautiful addition to our winter garden. I'm so excited for these to start leafing out. And again, it's going to be a nice, beautiful green, and it's just going to provide a completely different texture to this area than what we have right now. I am so excited about what a big impact this tree has made in this area of our garden. We've been sitting with it open for a while, just looking for that perfect specimen, and we weren't even really eyeing this maple. And we kind of saw it today and we're like, that's probably the one right there. And the fact that it's going to stay small is really nice. And again, we're adding so many seasonal interests. It's going to have summer interest, spring interest, winter interest, and I cannot wait for that beautiful fall color interest that we're going to have on this side of the garden. We already have some fall interest in this bed with the Shishigashira maple. That tends to stay more of like a yellow, more of like a burnt orange color, but this one is supposed to get really bright and orange. So that is going to be absolutely stunning. I cannot wait to see what it's going to look like this fall. And we went ahead and planted a little bit high just to make sure it doesn't hold on to too much water. We already have irrigation around it, so that's nice. And I think what's really helped us with having our maples in full sun is having irrigation to them, just to make sure that they're getting plenty of water on those summer days. And you can see the graft right there. I just wanted to show you guys how interesting that is right there. And we planted it also when we're looking at the orientation. I love that little curve to see how kind of comes out and comes back in. I think that's so interesting. So again, I just wanted to show you that we did plant it a little bit high, only because some of our trees benefit from it in our garden because we have areas that tend to stay really wet. So this has helped some of our trees to be planted a little bit higher than normal. Now that we have this tree anchored in this spot, that will really help me determine what kind of shrubs and perennials and annuals we're going to come in and start planting up this bed. I would love to keep things really simple in terms of color. I don't want to go too wild, but I do want to bring in a bright pop of color with our bedding annuals for both of these beds over here. So that is going to be really fun. And again, back here, this bed is still going to be figured out. We still want to come in, get rid of this fountain base that we have here. My stepdad is coming, so hopefully him and Sergey can break this down. We've put it on offer up, and I think people just realize how heavy it is, so nobody wants to take it. But we'll see if, maybe in the springtime, somebody will be motivated to come in and move it. If not, we are going to break it, get rid of it. And then I would like to come in and probably start reshaping this bed just to make it a little bit wider because we don't really come back here, so we don't need grass. I would love to do something a little bit more interesting. and have more planting space kind of near the house, something that's not going to get too wild. But again, that's not my main focus just because the siding still has to get done. But I would like to start thinking about the shape of this bed a bit more as we continue to work in this garden. Anyways, that will do it for today's project. I'm so happy that we got this tree in the ground, got it planted, we figured something out. We were just playing with this idea for so long, and I'm just happy that I finally committed to something. If you guys have any suggestions for this area in the tree island where we removed the Daphne, let me know down below. I'm always open and excited to hear your guys' idea. I was thinking about maybe a Pieris over here. We also have a small rhododendron that's in a container, and I thought maybe that would be fun to put over here. They do get big. This one I think tends to stay a little bit smaller, and we would just keep it pruned up kind of like in a Japanese style because we have a lot of evergreens and maples in this bed, so it would kind of be that style. But I'm open to ideas, or we could just leave it open and do bedding annuals instead. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today in my garden, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye bye.